Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. As a warm spring sun beats down on the campus of Space Academy, the cadets of the Polaris unit, Tom Corbett, Roger Manning, and Astro, lug their heavy space gear across the grassy quadrangle and step on the broad slide walk, heading for the Academy spaceport. As they ride, Tom reminds his unit mates of a previous mission with the same commanding officer, Major Blastoff Connell.
Look, fellas, after the hard time Major Connell gave us on the last mission out to Pluto, let's see if we can't really be on the ball for this one.
Okay by me, Tom.
It won't do any good.
You won't know till you try, Roger. What's the matter? Afraid of a little work?
Listen, you Venusian clunk, I'll work circles around you any day in a week, and that includes...
Okay, save that energy for the Polaris, Roger.
Yeah, use some of that hot air to shine brass.
Well, there's the ship. Let's get aboard and have everything shipshape for Major Connell. This is one mission when the Polaris crew is coming back with a clean record. Polaris unit reporting, sir.
Well, back to your old tricks again, I see.
Tricks, sir?
I thought after our last flight the Polaris unit had pulled itself together. But I see it's the same erratic, undependable...
Well, is there something wrong, sir?
No, nothing serious, Corbett. Just a minor detail. About what I'd expect from the Polaris unit. Who has the orders for this mission?
Well, I have a copy of them, sir.
Will you read the orders aloud, Manning, just for the record?
Yes, sir. 6 May 2352. Order 35876. Polaris unit will report to Academy Spaceport at 1400 hours with full space gear and place themselves under command of Major Connell. Mission, space test of new long-range transmission beam. Destination, Tara, planet and system of Alpha Centauri. Spaceship to be used, the Annie Jones.
Oh, murder.
Does this ship look like the Annie Jones? Well, does it?
No, sir.
Just a minor detail you overlooked, no doubt, and a detail that will cost you each 20 demerits. Now haul your gear out of here and see if you can find the Annie Jones. That is, if you can tell the difference between a cruiser and a space freighter. Unit dismissed.
I don't get it. Why do we always wind up with Connell when we've got a long flight ahead of us? First it was Pluto and now Tara. 25 billion miles out into deep space, and he has to be the boss.
Well, cheer up, Roger. There'll be 2 other spacemen on the crew. Connell will have to share his bad temper with them.
Well, if they're smart, those guys will be death. Who are they, anyhow?
Oh, I don't know their names. A couple of men who were on the first exploratory expedition to Tara.
You know, whether we like the company or not, this is going to be an important flight. If we can get this long-range transmission beam to work, it'll be the first big step to establishing a colony out there.
Fine, and all I hope is they make Connell a CO.
Well, here's the Annie Jones. Come on, let's climb aboard.
You sure this is the Annie Jones now?
Of course. Climb into the airlock. Come on, Astro. Hey, Astro.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
What's the matter? What are you looking at?
Oh, I thought I saw somebody hanging around that port stabilizer fin.
Don't see anyone.
I guess I was wrong. Well, let's go. And heaven help us stay on the right side of Major Connell from now on.
You can say that again, Astro.
You space-happy jerk. Did you have to show yourself like that? You almost quit the whole deal.
I'm sorry, Thurston. I thought those were the guys we're waiting for.
No, those were the cadets. We want the 2 enlisted spacemen.
Yeah, I know, but listen. Are you sure this thing is going to work?
We're going to make it work. I'm not letting a hunk of copper like that slip out of my fingers.
But are you sure the satellite is really copper?
For the last time, Louis, I had that sample tested. The satellite around Tara is almost 3/4 solid copper.
And right now, with no deposit on Earth, Mars, or Venus big enough to wire a magnoscope, it's worth more than plutonium. We'll be rich enough to retire on the dough we'll get from the first load.
I still think we ought to charter a ship and get it legitimate.
To charter a ship costs money, and we ain't got a single credit between us. Besides, this guy Connell and his space cadets might find the Copper Moon and claim it for the Solar Alliance, and then where'd we be?
Oh, I don't know.
We found that moon when we were out there with the expedition, and we're keeping it.
Okay.
Hey, here come those two spacemen, the rest of the crew. You ready?
Yeah, all set.
Quiet now. Get him!
Okay, Thurston, they're out cold.
All right, drag them behind that supply truck and grab their space gear. From here in, we're assigned to the crew of the Annie Jones, and when we get to Terra, we'll be richer one copper satellite. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Here's a special communication from Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Yes, spaceman, here is Tom Corbett to give you an important message about building yourself up to be strong and vigorous. Come in, Tom Corbett.
Corbett here. Now listen, spaceman. In any assignment a space cadet takes on, he's expected to do his very best. That's why space cadets demand the foods that help them the most. Foods that power them up for hard work. Kellogg's Pep is one of those foods. And besides being a builder-upper, Pep is a great tasting cereal, too. You don't have to take my word for it. Make it your space cadet assignment starting tomorrow morning. Eat Pep. Eat Pep every morning. You'll like that flavor. A whole wheat and malt flavor you can really taste. And when you get up from that breakfast table, you'll have a good supply of vitamin D, vitamin B1, and other important food values. The kind of food values you need to get out there and do a job any space cadet would be proud of. Let's make a deal, spaceman. We'll both eat Kellogg's Pep every morning. And we'll both keep ourselves ready for action every minute.
Right, Tom Corbett. And say, spaceman, start your day the spaceman's way with a man-sized bowl full of Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Blasting through space in the long-range freighter Annie Jones under the command of Major Connell, Tom, Roger, and Astro are bound for the planet Terra in the system of Alpha Centauri to test a new long-range transmission beam. Already off on the wrong foot with the harsh commanding officer, the boys are unaware that they face more trouble from the two enlisted spacemen in the crew.
Thurston, I still think this job is awful risky.
Nobody's asking you to think. We got to get rid of the cadets and Major Connell, and then the copper satellite is all ours.
Yes, and how do we get rid of them? It's 4 against 2. And those kids aren't babes in arms.
You let me worry about that. We're going to start cutting down the odds right now.
Corbett. Cadet Corbett.
Aye, Major Connell.
Corbett. You know the rules governing all entries made in the logbook.
Yes, sir.
It states that under no circumstances are any entries to be erased. But I find 2 lines here in your watch report have been erased.
Erased, sir?
And on top of that, the wrong course rewritten in its place.
But I never...
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
That'll cost you 10 demerits, Corbett. And for every act of negligence aboard this craft, there'll be 10 more. And 10 more. Clear, Corbett?
Clear, sir.
Thurston.
Yes, sir.
Check through the log for more erasures, and I hope for your sake, Corbett, there aren't any. Attention, power deck, check in.
Power deck, aye. Cadet Astro here.
Stand by for course change of 4 degrees starboard at my command.
Aye, aye, sir. 4 degrees starboard. Ready on steering rockets.
Fire.
Major Connell, we're swinging 10, 12, 14 degrees.
Power deck! I said 4 degrees, not 14.
Something went wrong, sir. The energy induction valve was wide open.
Something went wrong, eh? We were in close formation, Cadet Astro. Do you know what would happen?
Well, yes, sir.
No
but
buts. This is just another example of this unit's cockiness. That little mistake will cost you 20 demerits, Cadet Astro. Keep it up, and by the time we get back to Space Academy, the only power deck you'll handle will be on a kiddie car. And just in case you ever do have a kiddie car, you'll spend 4 extra hours a day off watch making rounds with Lewis. Maybe you can learn something from a real spaceman.
Well, blast my jets. Look who's got all the demerits, and yours truly, Roger Manning, just goes about his work.
Why, you stargazing squirt, I tell you something happened to that valve.
Yeah, and I suppose Tom didn't erase that stuff in the logbook.
No, I didn't, Roger.
Stop beefing. A few demerits and you're crying.
Manning, where are you?
Uh-oh, and transmission, fellas. Right here, Major. What's up?
Suppose you tell me. Check your space position.
Sure thing. Here you are, sir. Chart K, section 63. We're right here.
Look again, Manning. I think you'll find it chart M, section 67.
Chart M, sir?
Chart M, Manning. Check your dead reckoning again.
Well, yes, sir. Hey, wait a minute. You're right, sir. It is chart M, but how could that be?
It's simple, Manning. You made a mistake.
But I checked these figures 3 times, sir.
You made a mistake, Manning.
Well, yes, sir, I see it's wrong, sir, but I didn't do it,
Cadet
sir.
Manning, you admit there was an error?
Yes, sir, but
and you are the astrogator on this ship, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
I don't mind if a man makes a mistake. A human error can be understood and excused. But I cannot excuse a man who commits an error and then tries to wriggle out of it. It seems all I ever get from the Polaris unit is excuses.
Well,
I'm relieving you from duty, Manning, as an example of negligence. Return to your quarters. Thurston, check in.
Thurston here, sir.
You're assigned to the radar deck for the remainder of the trip.
Yes, sir.
Now maybe I can relax with this ship in the hands of real spacemen.
There it is, Lewis. Second in command. Recorded in the logbook, all nice and legal as far as the cadets are concerned. My idea worked like a charm.
Yep. Planning all those mistakes on the kids and then denying it. Oh, boy, that was just like pouring oil on a fire. Connell just got hotter and hotter and hotter.
So now if anything happens to Connell, I take over the ship and no questions.
I'd feel a lot safer if we got rid of that space bum right away. Suppose he gets wise. And that Corbett is a smart kid, too.
Yeah, too smart. You're right about Connell. We gotta get rid of him fast.
The thing is, how do we do it? The ray guns are all locked up.
Leave it to me. I'm gonna make our tough skipper take a swim out in space. And I'll use Corbett as bait.
Now, what's so funny?
I'm just thinking, Lewis. I might get down in history as the first guy in the universe to catch 2 space fish on one hook.
Tom, that error on the radar deck was in simple arithmetic. I couldn't make that mistake if I wanted to because I use a calculator on all problems.
Right. And the first thing I learned was not to erase the logbook. And you, Astro, well, you couldn't turn the wrong valve if you wanted to.
All right, then. What's the answer?
Well, I don't know, but I've got my ideas. Thurston and Lewis.
Come to think of it, they're the ones who profited by all this.
And if Tom's right, it's still going to be tough to prove with Thurston second in command.
You think it would do any good to talk to the major?
I don't know, Astro, but I can try. All he can do is give me a few demerits, and the way I'm going, what's 10 or 20 more?
All right, Thurston. What is it?
I'm going outside to check the radar antenna. I wondered if Corbett here might want to come along.
Come along? Why?
Well, to learn something, of course. But if you'd rather not.
Good idea, Thurston. A little refresher is good now and then.
But I just finished a 6-week refresher course at the academy, Major.
Of all the lazy, stupid, short-sighted rocket watch. Get into a spacesuit on the double and go with Thurston. That's an order.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's not so bad, Corbett. I can teach you a lot out there. Be the best lesson you ever had. There's the antenna up forward, Corbett. You go ahead and I'll follow you.
Okay, Thurston.
Why so slow? I don't want to be out here all day. Why do you keep looking back at me?
Just making sure everything's all right, Thurston.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Well, everything will be soon.
Hey, what are you trying to do? Let go of me. My oxygen valve. Let go of me.
That's it, Corbett. Have a nice long sleep for yourself. Attention! Emergency! Major Connell. Something's happened to Corbett. His oxygen supply is blocked. They need another bottle right away.
Stand by, Thurston. Do what you can. I'll be right out.
Better hurry, sir. There isn't much time.
That's it. Breathe deeply, Corbett. You'll be all right. Blasted, why didn't Thurston just turn your valve on when he saw you weren't getting oxygen?
But Thurston, he turned the valve off.
What?
Yes, sir. Where is he?
He went back into the ship to get a respirator.
He what?
Corbett, what are you doing? Come back here.
Major, the airlock, I can't open it. Thurston locked it from the inside.
What? Thurston! Thurston! Check in or by the stars, I'll put you in irons.
You're not putting anyone in irons, Connell. You're finished. I'm taking over the ship.
What, you rotten space crawler? I'll tear you apart.
Go on, keep blasting, Connell. That's all you can do now. And don't expect Manning or Astro to help you. They're fast asleep. A little narco-sleeping gas in the oxygen circulating system, and they never knew what hit them. When we get to Tara, we wake them up and tell them you and Corbett had an accident.
Now listen, Thurston.
Better save your breath, Connell. You've only got 4 hours of oxygen in your bottles. So you'd better take a good look at the stars. They'll be the last thing you ever see.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, Kellogg's Pep, the cereal that brings you these exciting Space Cadet adventures, now gives you a chance to collect detailed picture cutouts of your favorite Space Cadets. Right now at your grocery store, each and every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep has a special Space Cadet picture cutout right on the back of the package. All you have to do is cut it out and set it up in your own Space Cadet setting. You can get a picture of Astro, Tom Corbett, or Roger Manning in a spacesuit, Dr. Joan Dale in the official Space Academy dress uniform. You want to get all 4 Space Cadet picture cutouts, and it's easy to do. Nothing to mail, no box tops to send in. Your picture comes right on the back of every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep. And that's not all. Right inside that package of Kellogg's Pep, you're going to find the best-tasting wheat cereal you ever poured into your cereal bowl. Just heat those golden flakes up high. Cover them over with milk and sugar. Boy, when you taste a spoonful of that delicious whole wheat and malt flavor, well, you'll call for second helpings right on the spot. So don't forget, ask Mom to get Kellogg's Pep as soon as you can. For a swell build-up cereal with Space Cadet picture cutouts on the back of every package, it's Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Left to die of suffocation, locked outside the Annie Jones, Tom and Major Connell worked desperately on a plan to save not only their own lives, but the lives of Astro and Roger, who have been drugged with a sleeping gas.
Lucky for us, Thurston left this other oxygen bottle outside, Major.
Yeah, if we can damage the steering vane enough, it'll jam the controls to make those rats come out to fix it.
Well, just a little more, sir. Yeah, and I think we might have it.
Here, let me try a while, Corbett.
Yes, sir. A little more, sir. And that'll do it.
Hammer out here on the edge.
That's it, sir. The steering vane's jammed.
This will start the ship drifting off course. Thurston and Lewis will be scanning the hull to see what's going on. And we've got to make them think we're either dead or too weak to resist.
But how, sir?
Now, you lie down on the hull. I'm going to shove off into space.
Hey, Major, they're coming out already.
Quick, now. I haven't time to explain. Keep their attention drawn from me. Or we'll wind up drifting with 10 million of the most unfriendly stars I've ever seen.
Imagine those guys busting that steering vane with that oxygen bottle.
Not a good at them, Thurston. I saw one of them through the airlock viewport, drifting away. Almost 4 hours, so I guess the other one is done for now.
Yeah, but I hope that vane ain't busted too bad.
Well, if it is, we get Astro to fix it.
Good idea. Okay, pressure equalized. Now open up the outer hatch and climb out.
Hey, there's one of them down by the stern of the ship. I think it's Corbett.
Yeah, looks like he's passed out. But you better stay here by the airlock just in case.
Okay.
I'll go over and take a look.
Well, hello, Thurston. Come to look over the steering vane?
You're...
Yes, still alive, no thanks to you. They'll get you, Thurston, for mutiny, piracy, and attempted murder. The Solar Guard will
make me laugh. When I get back, I'll have enough credits to buy the Solar Guard. Now, you're going for a long swim in space, and I'll make it easy for you. A blast from this parallel ray. So when the oxygen gives out, you won't feel a thing.
So by trying to keep it a secret, Thurston and Lewis lost everything. Thurston confessed they wanted to keep the discovery of the copper satellite to themselves, and the first step was taking over the ship.
But I still don't understand what happened outside the ship, Major.
Well, Roger, when the Major shoved off into space, I was supposed to act as decoy for the skipper to sneak up behind them.
But how did the skipper get back to the ship?
With the oxygen bottle, Astro. He waited for me to get Thurston and Lewis's attention, and then used the bottle like a jet to push him back. He came up behind Lewis and hit him with a bottle.
I must have cracked his helmet. I couldn't save him.
Well, what were you doing all this time, Tom?
I'll tell you what he was doing. He was protecting me.
Protecting you?
That's right, Manning. To keep Thurston's and Lewis's attention, Tom took a parallel rate charge as calmly as if he were listening to a lecture at the Space Academy.
Well, I'll be a stargazing lunatic.
And speaking of Space Academy, it's going to be a long time before we get back. I've received orders from Commander Arkwright to bring the copper back with us. So you'd better get a lot of sleep. We've got a big job ahead of us.
Sleep? After a round with that narco gas, I want to stay awake for 6 months.
Oh, blast my jets. Now I've heard everything. Manning passing up sack time.
Oh, rack it off, you Venusian hillbilly.
Listen, you skinny space
Hey,
jerk.
fellas, take it easy. The Major.
Never mind, Corbett. Let them blast. It shows everything's back to normal again. Thank the universe.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the crew of the Polaris lands on the copper satellite and begins the overwhelming task of sending it blasting back to Earth in Part 2 of Danger in Deep Space. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast were Al Markham, Jan Merlin, and Andy Donnelly. Today's program was written by Richard Jessup and directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program came to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Blasting into deep space to the planet Terra in the star system of Alpha Centauri, the Space Cadets have made a startling discovery. A satellite of Terra that is composed of 3/4 solid copper. Now, as the converted space freighter Annie Jones rests on the precious moon, Tom, Roger, and Astro wait with rising excitement for their commanding officer, Major Connell, to brief them on the most gigantic project ever attempted by man. Transporting an entire satellite from one star system to another.
Major Connell's been in contact with Space Academy for the past 4 days, Tom. Talking with every big-shot astrophysicist they have.
Yeah, I know, Roger. Finding this copper satellite is one of the big discoveries of space.
Hey, I wonder what a thing like this is worth, Tom.
Well, I don't know, Astro, but it was enough to make Thurston and Lewis almost commit murder to keep the discovery to themselves.
They should have known Major Connell wouldn't let man nor beast take over his ship.
You're blasted right, Manning, and I won't allow a space-brained cadet to neglect a prisoner in my custody. Who's on prisoner to tail this watch?
Well, I am, sir.
And I might have known. Cadet Manning. One of the first things an officer of the Solar Guard learns is to take care of the needs of his men and his prisoners before himself. Did you know that?
Yes, sir. I was just going to...
Then get below and see that Thurston has his rations. And to make sure that you remember in the future, give him yours.
Give him mine?
Yes, Manning, yours. Maybe you'll think better on an empty stomach.
Yes, sir.
And all of you report to me on the control deck in 10 minutes for briefing. That's all.
Blast that character anyhow. Doesn't he ever give a guy a break?
You're lucky he didn't give you 10 demerits, Roger.
But now I have to go without a meal.
Oh, that's all right, Roger, old boy. You can live off the fat of your head.
Now pay attention, boys, because I'm only going to say this once. As you know, the Solar Alliance copper supplies are so low that the discovery of this satellite is of utmost importance. Our job is getting it back to Earth.
Back to Earth?
Well, how can we get a satellite 10 miles in diameter through 25 billion miles of open space?
If you'd give the Major a chance, you Venusian clunk, he'll tell you.
Clunk, listen, you skinny
Knock
radar...
off that space gas.
Yes, sir.
Aye, aye, sir.
Now, to answer your question, Astro, getting it back is the trickiest part of the job.
Why not just dig out the copper and haul it back in spaceships, sir?
Too long and too costly, Corbett. We've got to take the whole thing, and we've got to do it fast. Now listen closely. This satellite, which I've named Terra Junior, is a captive of Terra, just as our moon is a captive of Earth. And Terra revolves around its sun, Alpha Centauri. Our problem will be to use Terra's orbital speed and Junior's orbital speed in combination. Time them so we can use them to spring Junior loose.
Well, how do we get the orbital speeds to help us, Major?
Remember when you were kids and you tied a rock on the end of a rope and swung it around your head?
Why, sure, sort of like a slingshot.
That's right, Corbett. Now, if you released the rope, the rock would fly in the direction it was headed when you let go.
I get it. Then the gravity of Terra is the rope holding the satellite, making it swing around.
And a reactant power unit could be the trigger to make it let go.
It's as simple as that, boys.
Well, how do we stop it after we get it rolling?
The chances of Junior hitting anything on the way home are so small it doesn't present a problem. So we just aim Junior for our solar system. Arrangements will then be made to steer it into the orbit around the sun.
Hey, that sounds pretty neat.
It is, but we only have 4 days, 5 hours, and 17 minutes to pull Junior out of Terra's grip and later the grip of Alpha Centauri. You boys will have to work like you've never worked before. You'll do things you never dreamed you could do. You'll work until your brains ache and your bodies scream. But when you've finished, you will have accomplished one of man's greatest challenges. You're going to do this because I know you can, and because I'm going to see that you do. Is that clear?
Yes, right, sir. Captain. Well done.
Now, between the 4 of us, we've got to send a hunk of copper 10 miles in diameter, hurtling through 25 billion miles of space. So let's get that ball rolling. Right now.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Tom Corbett says, eat Kellogg's Pep. Roger Manning says, eat Kellogg's Pep. Astro says, eat Kellogg's Pep. Yes, all the Space Cadets are passing the good word along to you. Eat Pep and taste that swell whole wheat and malt flavor. Eat Pep and get those essential vitamins B1 and D. Eat the cereal that gives you build-up food values for strong bones and tough muscles. Here's Astro to tell you in a special interview just why Kellogg's Pep is so important to the Space Cadets.
Spaceman, when Reveille sounds at Space Academy, things start happening mighty fast. The cadets are on the go every minute right up till taps. Plenty of Kellogg's Pep first thing in the morning helps give us the food power we need to travel at full space speed. Now, those vitamins are important, too. But most of all, that swell flavor is so downright good, it's just a plain pleasure to eat every bowlful of Kellogg's Pep.
Right, Astro. And every smart spaceman will take your tip about tomorrow morning. We'll all start our day the spaceman's way with a man-sized bowlful of Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
$25 billion miles from Earth in the star system of Alpha Centauri, 3 space cadets and their commanding officer prepare for an almost impossible task, transporting a satellite through space toward Earth. Now, as Major Blastoff Connell roars, cajoles, and pleads with his young spacemen, they assemble the massive information necessary for the big push through space.
I tried building that lead baffle for the uranium 5 times already, sir. I'm having trouble getting the amount of reactant power we need in a unit that small.
Maybe you're trying to make it too small, Astro. Remember, this unit has but one job, to start the reaction. When the U-235 gets hot enough, it'll start a reaction of the copper on Terra Junior and sustain itself. Try a smaller amount of reactant. But whatever you do, keep working. Only a day and a half left.
Aye, aye, sir, but I won't guarantee it.
I don't want your guarantee. I want that unit. Now build it.
There you are, Skipper. All set. An electronic fuse that'll set off the reactant mass for initial escape velocity. And it's delivered a day ahead of time.
Good work, Manning. Excellent.
Ah, it's nothing, Skipper.
Now I want to see how smart you really are.
Huh?
I want a communications unit we can plant on Terra Junior that'll send out a constant signal as long as it's in transit back to Earth.
In one day? Impossible, Skipper.
Cadet Manning, I didn't ask for your opinion. I asked for a signal unit.
But one day, sir, I can't. I know I can't.
Roger. Now, look, did I ever tell you that I think you have one of the finest brains for electronics I've ever known?
Oh, why, thank you, sir. And come to think of it, I might be able to duplicate that new transmitter and then use some of that stuff Astro's got for power.
That's more like it. Get to it. Well, it looks like we're all set. Now, you all know your assignments. We'll take jet boats and go out in pairs, Corbett and myself, Manning and Astro. We'll set up the reaction explosives on Terra Junior at the points marked on your maps. When you've finished, set the fuses and return to the ship. But watch your timing. If we fail, it'll be more than a year before Junior will be in the same position again. How much time do we have left, Corbett?
6 hours and 17 minutes, sir.
Not much, but enough. It shouldn't take more than 5 hours to set up the reaction units and get back to the ship to blast off. All clear?
Right, Captain.
All right, put your spacesuits and helmets on and move out. We're going to pitch the biggest ball in history, and it had better be a strike.
Give me the fuses, Roger. The reactor's all set.
Here, Astro. Don't forget to set it for maximum time. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Hey, you're wrong, Roger. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Listen, you ape, I built the thing. I'm telling you, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes.
But, Roger,
2 hours.
Okay, you ought to know. You made the fuses, but I still think you're wrong.
What's the time, Corbett?
Terra Junior gets a big jolt in exactly 1 hour and 40 seconds from now, sir.
Fine. That gives me just enough time to notify Space Academy to get set to start receiving Terra Junior's radio signal. You know what to do?
Well, I don't have to do anything, sir. Roger spliced in all the fuse circuits to this clock. In 1 hour and 10 seconds, she goes off automatically.
Good, good. Anything done with electronics and timed properly is better than manual operation. Less chance of human error. By the craters of Luna, what's that?
The explosion, sir. They went off ahead of time.
But you said we had plenty of time.
Oh, we did, sir, unless...
Manning and Astro made a mistake.
We got it on the button, Astro, right on time. This baby's a perfect strike all the way home.
Manning, what time did you set the fuses for?
Why, 16 hours and 53 minutes, sir. Is there something wrong?
Yes, Manning, everything's wrong. You set the fuses an hour too soon. It should have been 17 hours, 53 minutes.
But
That's all right, Roger. We've all been working hard, and one little mistake is bound to show up in an operation like this. It's all my fault. I should have checked those fuses myself.
Well, does an hour too soon make much difference?
A lot of difference, Astro.
But how, sir?
It's like this, Corbett. I thought we had the explosions timed so at the proper moment we'd pull Junior out of his orbit and send him into space. But by being an hour too soon, we sent it into the sun instead.
But there must be something we can do to correct it, sir.
Not a thing, Corbett. Instead of supplying the Solar Alliance with copper, in another week, Tara Jr. will be hardly more than a molten piece of space junk. Stand by to blast off. We're heading home. This mission's a failure.
Honest, Astro, I've never been more miserable in my life.
Don't let it get you down, Roger. The Major said it was a mistake anyone could make, and besides...
But have you seen the way he just talks to us these past 3 days? No yelling or blasting our ears off, no demerits, nothing. He just stays in his quarters.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'd rather have him blowing his jets than the way he is now.
Tom must feel pretty rotten, too. I haven't seen much of him either.
Yeah, he's doing nothing but working. I don't think he's slept since we left.
That's all my fault. I'm nothing but a big mouth with an asteroid for a head.
Hey, where are you going?
I almost forgot. I gotta give our prisoner a meal. The way I feel now, I'd like to shove it down his throat. All right, Thurston, come and get it.
Well, well, well. Where's the big Manning spirit? Kinda got you boys down since that loudmouth Connell failed on your little mission, huh?
Listen, you space crawler, one more word and I'll come in there and pound that head of yours in a space jump.
I wish you'd try it, you little squirt. I'd break you in two.
Okay, pal, I'm gonna give you that chance.
Yeah, when?
Right now.
Fuck you.
Sorry about the teeth, Thurston. I forgot you had to eat.
It's a beautiful job of calculation, Corbett, but it's too risky.
I've already talked to Roger and Astro, sir, and we'd like to volunteer to try it.
That's right, sir. I'd like another chance at Tara Jr.
Oh, you would, huh, Manning? What happened to you? Was that a black eye you got?
No, sir. I just bumped my head on the radar scope. Now, about Tara Jr.,
It's worth
sir,
a try, isn't it, sir? Tom's idea sounds pretty good to me.
It is, but go over it again, Corbett.
Junior is falling into its sun at a speed of 22 miles a second right now. But we could land on it in a jet boat, set up more nuclear explosions to blast her out of the sun's grip and on our way to Earth. We wouldn't get as much speed as before, but we'd still save the copper.
Now, let's see. We could get back to Tara in 3 days and prepare the reactant and fuses on the way. We might be able to do it, Corbett.
Why is the time figured so close, Tom?
It has to be, Astro. We know the pull of the sun is so much, and the power of the jet boat is so much. When the sun's pull becomes greater than the escape speed of the jet boat, well, you just keep going into the sun. It'll take at least 3 men to set up the explosions in the amount of time we have, just 2 hours.
Well, one of us will have to stay behind.
Hey, not me. I'm going.
All right. Now, we'll draw numbers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The man who draws number 4 stays.
Well, fair enough, sir.
Wait, I'll write them on some slips of paper. Okay, you pick, Astro.
Number 2, I go.
Roger.
Number 1, I go.
Tom.
Number 4, I stay.
That leaves me to go with Astro and Roger.
But, sir,
Never mind the buts. Manning, get me a course back to Tara Jr. Astro, stand by the power deck for course change. Tom, stand by the control deck. We're going back and snatch a hot copper filling right out of the Sun Star's teeth.
Attention, space freighter to Major Connell. 36 minutes to blast off. 36 minutes to blast off.
Hello, Corbett.
Thurston!
Take your hand off that wrench or I'll freeze you with this parallel ray.
How in blazes did you get loose?
Your buddy, Manning, decided he wanted to paste my ears back, so I let him. He was so anxious to make me lose a few teeth, he didn't notice the spoon I kept.
Spoon?
Yeah, spoon for a few teeth, a good trade. I waited for your pals to leave the ship, and then I short-circuited the lock on the cell. Now get over to the controls. We're going back to Tara.
Tara? But Major Connell, Roger, and Astro are on that satellite. If I'm not around to pick them up, they'll fall into the sun.
Well, ain't that too bad? So they're gonna fry. But if you don't start this wagon up, you're going out the airlock and freeze. Now get to work.
return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Say, Spaceman, how are you coming with your collection of Space Cadet picture cutouts? You know, you can get as many as 4 different Space Academy favorites, full-length pictures of Astro, Roger, Tom Corbett, and Dr. Joan Dale. These picture cutouts are swell for making Space Cadet settings. Now, just imagine one of the exciting adventures that the Space Cadets have been on. You draw a picture of it, you put the cutouts right in the setting. Well, you can even make a stage and have the picture cutouts reenact your favorite Space Cadet adventures. If you haven't got Space Cadet picture cutouts yet, you want to start your collection right away. Ask your mom to get you a regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep. Look on the back of the package, and right there, you see your own Space Cadet cutout. It's a full-length picture made from an actual photograph. Each cutout shows you an official Space Academy uniform, too. Cut the picture out of the box, make a little stand for it, and you're all set for a Space Cadet adventure. At the same time, you'll be all set to dish out the best-tasting wheat flakes that ever got covered with milk and sugar. Pep gives you that tasty whole wheat and malt flavor that just tops everything. And remember, there's a Space Cadet picture cutout on the back of every regular-sized package of Pep. So don't delay. Ask for the Build-Up Wheat Cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
In a desperate attempt to save the copper satellite from falling into the sun, Roger, Astro, and Major Connell race against time to set up additional nuclear explosions to blast the priceless moon out of the deadly grip of Alpha Centauri. But they are unaware that Thurston has escaped from his cell and has forced Tom to fly the space freighter Annie Jones back to Tara.
Keep this space wagon driving, Corbett. Open those rockets wide.
Listen, Thurston, give the fellas a break. If I don't pick them up, they'll be killed.
Now, ain't that just too bad?
Look, I promise nothing will happen to you. We'll let you go free.
Shut your mouth and concentrate on them controls. You and Major Connell and those other cadets are the only guys who have anything on me. Now, you don't think I'm going to let you stay alive, do you?
Why, you dirty, low-down space crawler.
Get back to those controls, Corbett, or I'll blast you with this ray and pitch you out of the airlock, so help me.
Okay, Thurston, you win.
That's better. Hey, what are you doing?
You want more speed, don't you?
Okay, but don't try any funny stuff.
I don't see how I can. You've got me nailed with that parallel ray.
Where are you going?
Just have to adjust the reaction mixture for this speed.
Oh, yeah? Well, I happen to know you do that at the main panel. Get back.
Sure, Thurston, but not before I adjust something else.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm floating.
You're a spaceman. Let's see how you handle free fall.
Why, you little space pup, I'll freeze you stiff.
Try again, Thurston.
Hey, I'm going backward and I can't stop.
Sure, the recoil of your gun. Now I'll take over. This is what they call free fall wrestling, pal.
Let me let go.
Yeah, sure, after I do a little freezing of my own. Sweet dreams, pal. Now start praying I can pull the fellas off that satellite, because if I can't, you'll wind up frying in the sun with us.
There's only one answer, boys. Thurston's escaped and taken over the ship. I can't think of any other reason Tom would abandon us like this.
Guess you're right, sir. Boy, it's going to get pretty hot soon.
Annie Jones to Major Connell. Come in, Major. Roger. Astro, can you hear me?
Listen, sir, it's Tom. Look, there's the Annie Jones. It's headed this way.
By the craters of Luna, he's coming back.
Roger, Astro, someone come in.
Connell to Annie Jones. Corbett, what happened?
I haven't time to explain, sir. Blast off in your jet boat. I'll pick you up.
No use, Tom. We've used all our power.
Then stand by. I'm putting the Annie Jones on automatic and coming in for a landing.
No, Corbett. There's nothing you can do. We're too far gone into the sun's pull. You'll never blast off again.
I don't care if we all wind up cinders. I'm coming in.
Tom, unless Astro can build enough pressure in those cooling pumps to handle the emergency reactant fuel, we're done for. We'll never get off this moon.
Power deck to control deck.
Come in, Astro.
Almost ready, Major. Maximum pressure is 800. We're 778 now, sir.
Very well, Astro. Let it build up to an even 800 and blast at my command. Manning?
Here, sir.
Are we all clear?
All clear, sir.
Stand by the control deck, Tom. And if you've ever twisted those dials, twist them now.
Aye, aye, sir.
Pressure up to 791.
Give us the works, Astro.
796.
Stand by to fire all rockets.
Make it good, you Venusian clock. 799, sir. 800.
Fire all rockets!
Report from power deck, sir. Acceleration normal. We're out of the sun's gravity field.
And out of danger now. Corbett, you did a tremendous job.
You're the one who got us off, sir. I just followed orders.
Well, all right. But the log will tell the whole story. And I might add, wipe out a number of those demerits.
Thank you, sir.
Major Connell, Major.
Yes, Manning?
I just took final observations on the copper satellite. She cleared the sun and is swinging wide around the other side, heading for our own solar system.
Well, looks like that's the icing on the cake, boys. Our mission is a complete success.
But what do I do about that creep Thurston?
Nothing. He's in the brig, isn't he?
Well, not yet. I was too busy to lock him up.
It's a wonder he didn't start acting up again.
Oh, he did. But I quieted him down.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yes, sir. But I think maybe now he'd better be put in the brig. He's running out of teeth.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris returns to deep space to explore a newly discovered planet and find themselves marooned with death. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast are Jan Merlin, Al Markham, and Louis Van Ruten. Today's program was written by Richard Jessup, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.